All right. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy patch party. It is February 26th. Another fun patch party week. So we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Dr. Kayla Abide. I am in the upstate of South Carolina and I enjoyed the beautiful, like near 80-degree weather today. It was so nice. But we're going to get started with sharing some mind-blowing education. And so, yes, I am a chiropractor. No, I'm not your chiropractor or your primary care physician. So please be sure any information and education you learn here today, you take and do with it what you will, making sovereign choices for your own health and vitality, that of your family, and always consulting with your primary care physician or medical team, whatever your preference is when you are making your own health decisions. So take everything here with education. We are not treating, curing, or diagnosing or providing any medical advice today. And of course, at any point in time, please feel free if you are new here to drop information about yourself in the chat. I know Mariana just did, so it's so good to meet you. Thank you, Emily, for inviting you. And she doesn't know much about patches, so we are going to really share a lot of really mind-blowing information about the patches today. And if you have any questions, anybody in the presentation today at any point in time, drop them in the chat. We will share some testimonials as well as do a live Q&A at the end, so I'll make sure to get through this material so we can have some time to chat together. All right. So why are we all here? Well, we're all here because of this fun little patch. It looks like a sticker. We call them stickies. We call them miracle patches, whatever you prefer to call them. And this patch is phototherapy. So this patch is made out of organic crystals that form a, let's say, 3D structure and help reflect the light back into our body. And it's everybody's light because we are light beings. We emit energy. We emit light. We emit heat. And so this little patch that we're going to talk about today utilizes that light to help facilitate abundance of health and vitality and vital energy among various sources. So let's dive in. You've been familiar with this before, so this isn't new technology to you, and it's just a little bit of a different take on technology because the sun is also phototherapy or photobiomodulation, like they may call it. The sun, I was having fun on the sun today. The sun itself actually helps you synthesize vitamin D. So when you go outside, you spend 20 minutes outside, your body takes that sunlight and it transforms it into energy via vitamins for your vital energy and your health and well-being. And that's exactly how this technology is working. But instead of utilizing the sun, we are utilizing our own body's light because we are synonymous with emitting light, just like the sun. So why are we talking about light? Why is it so important? Well, 20 years ago, LifeWave was born. It was born from a patch that the CEO and inventor David Schmidt was contracted by the US government to create a energy patch for sustainable energy that was drug-free, chemical-free, stimulant-free for the US Navy SEALs. So this was something that he was tasked to do, and he did it really successfully. And we still have that patch. It's called Energy Enhancer. So for the past 20 years, David Schmidt has created over 10 patches, tons of other products in the health and vitality field, helping us live younger, live well, live healthy, and actually repair, rejuvenate, regenerate, and actually reverse our health and vitality in ways that we're going to talk about today. But what's important, it is all done in a non-transdermal way. We are utilizing the inherent innate intelligence and power and potential of our own bodies to heal. And so X39 is a patch that came out about 5 years ago, and it is a very powerful patch. So overall in the LifeWave collected, there's over 130 patents, there's over 90 clinical studies, and we have so much to share with you today. So let's talk about X39 specifically. X39 is that powerful patch. It has to do with activating our own master cells. And so before we dive into how it does it, we're going to talk about my favorite parts. Because just like I said, when David Schmidt was tasked by the US government to create something that was stimulant-free, drug-free, and was not going to harm the US Navy SEALs, he kept that consistent throughout all of his creations. And X-Rayon is the same way. It's not invasive, there's no drugs, there's no chemicals, there's no stimulants, and actually there's not even ingredients, right? It's not anything we're putting into our body. This is not like a vitamin or a supplement. It's called non-transdermal. So that means that we're putting the sticker on the skin, but there's nothing being transferred from the skin to the bloodstream or into the body. It is essentially, I like to call it a solar panel. So this non-transdermal sticker just essentially is a mirror or a solar panel that reflects your own light back into your body, and your body can utilize that energy source for health and vital means. So, like I said, there's no dosing necessary and there's no side effects, and it is extremely accessible and easy to use. It takes 10 seconds to put it on, you wear it for 12 hours, and 10 seconds to take it off. So essentially, it's like brushing your teeth with a ton of benefits in terms of utilizing your own light. So why we're talking about X39, X39 is the patch that activates via your own light your body's biological variants to enhance vitality. And that vital means is GHK copper peptide. So there's no GHK copper peptide in this patch. There's nothing in it at all. But the patent of the patch, the structure, when it utilizes your own light, reflects that light back in, your body utilizes that to create GHK copper peptide. So it's a set of instructions, if you will. When your body creates GHK copper peptide, we could see an abundance of benefits. There's over 33 pages on PubMed that you could go to read about the power of GHK copper peptide. And this is not the power of GHK copper peptide from LifeWave. This is from all of the medical texts, all of the research texts. You can go and look how powerful this is as it was discovered in 1973 by Dr. Loren Pickard of how powerful this peptide is. And so we could just to name a few here, we have skin and hair and nails, lung protection, fast growing cells, brain and nerves, antioxidant power. But what's most powerful is activating of the master cells, right? Our master cells of our body, also called stem cells, are actually what we utilize for health and vitality in that continuum of longevity. And so we know that GHK copper peptide, when enhanced in the body, can actually cause stem cells to start producing again. It could actually help produce more healthy stem cells and reset old stem cells to a healthier, younger state. So, why is this important? Because stem cells are essentially the blank canvas of all of who we are. So it's just like taking about a piece of paper and creating art. You have endless potential what you could create. So we have stem cells in our body that can be created into any other type of cell. So when we're talking about aging, we always ask the time again question of why is it once we hit 30, 40, 50 years old, it's all downhill from there in terms of health, right? When we look at stem cells, we are born with the most stem cells, with all of these abundant stem cells that can turn into any type of health and vital assistance when we are healing from trauma or just aging over time, turning over organ function. So if we look at this scale, when we are at our youngest, we have the most stem cells. And as we age, those stem cells decline. So we know from research that by the time we are 65, we have less than 5% of those stem cells left. And about midlife, which I know will throw everyone for a loop who's new here, is about 35 years old. The average person, between male or female, about 35 to 40 is the average middle age. It's not like 50 or 60 when we talk about having a middle age crisis. It's actually a lot younger. And that's when these stem cells you could see start to make a rapid decline. So it's really important that we start helping activate these master cells in our body to age reverse, to actually turn back time. And that is absolutely possible because we are self healing beings. We are light beings. We have that potential. So the fewer stem cells we have, the faster we age and the slower we heal. So, what happens when we activate these master cells? Well, stem cells, like I said, are very unique because they actually can travel throughout your entire body and go to places that they're necessary and turn into other cells to help support healing and vitality. So, LifeWave's recommendation, of course, is to actually patch with X39 for 1 month per decade you are old. Why is that? Well, that comes from the research. So when we are looking at cellular healing, this is not something that happens overnight. This is something that happens, one, in a slower process from the inside out, and two, on a priority system. So this is where I like to stop and pause and talk about what that means. We've been taught in terms of health and vitality that we could cover something up, we could turn something off, and that equals health. That is not true healing. Healing takes time. If you've ever heard of the saying, your body regenerates itself every 7 years, that's because every cell turns over every 7 years. And so this takes a lot of time. So when we're looking at 1 month per decade you are old, that is still, I think, a small amount of time. So I like to recommend that you patch with X39 for at least 1 year. And we'll see why in just a second. But what's most important is that your body has a higher priority system, and that might not be in alignment with your priority system of healing. You may want better nails, longer hair, better digestion, but maybe your higher priority, innate intelligence of your body, wants you to have liver repair, wants you to have better collagen abundance, make sure wants to go to a certain joint or a specific part of your brain. And that's what these stem cells do. They go to the most important tissue first. And so the more or the longer that you are patching, the more opportunity of vital energy of healing and health and vitality you have access to. So let's look at what happens when we start activating our master cells. Within the first 24 hours, we know of wearing this patch that 4,000 genes begin to reset themselves. Then that process ensues every single day following. So within 4 weeks' time, you get this massive army that's activated. And this is what I talk about, like I mentioned just a couple minutes ago. You might be healing higher priority areas of critical issues or critical imbalances that don't have sensory or motor components. So you may not actually ever even feel this happening. And so, on average, research shows that 80% of people that start to wear this patch will notice something within the first week or two. Within the first month, about 90% of people will notice something. So, what's happening during that first month time, even if we take, for example, the person who takes until month 2 to notice something, to me, that tells me that person had a higher priority of important tissue that needed support that didn't have motor or sensory components to it. Because our body is intelligent. Our body knows exactly what to do. It just needs the resources to increase that vital energy of support in our body. So I want you to think about that because that is a total health paradigm shift than where we come from. That actually things take time to heal, and you may not actually feel the healing happening until it's, let's say, reaches the surface, or Mother Nature or time is able to compound itself in a way that it can make a visible or a felt sense experience for you to know that something has changed. We also know that in the first 6 weeks, brain balance actually starts to shift. So your brain becomes more balanced. It can either upregulate, downregulate, and this impacts our mood, our mental health and well being, as well as our sleep, as well as our memory. And this is huge, huge. We've even seen in house studies with people on our team that have done this on themselves when they started patching and had brain mapping changes within the first 4 weeks, even instead of the average time of this research of 6. So it's really powerful. Of course, within 3 months, we have collagen increased, but then this is the takeaway. Within 6 months, when we looked at the cardiovascular system changes, as we talk about metabolism, age reversing, that ability to actually heal and regenerate those higher priorities to have a healthy and vital state. So, the cardiovascular portion of the organ function show that after 6 weeks, the cardiovascular system acted 8 weeks younger. So let's do the ratio, let's do the math. That's for every day you wear the patch, your cardiovascular system acts a day and a third younger. Literally, friends, it's by putting this on in the morning and taking it off at night. Like, it's simple. It's literally so simple. And I do this talk every single week, and it just makes me giddy and laugh because I think there's over 700 people that have been patched so up, but like after I started patching, and that's massive because like think about the number of months or years that people can gain in terms of health and vitality by doing something literally so simple. Like us in America, we make things so complex and they don't need to be. We can really make this simple. And it all starts with our own light. Like, how cool is that? And so that's why I challenge everybody to a year because imagine what would happen if you did this for a year because it's the easiest thing you can do, number one. But number two, what happens from the inside out when that shifts and changes. And so a lot of people always ask, so I like to include this. What happens when I've been told that I could get stem cell injections, right? Because stem cell injections is something that's super common. It's a super trendy in the Western world. Even in the functional medicine world, it's super trendy, which of course we know the benefits of stem cells, but most people don't know that they could wear this instead of doing this because there's big shifts here happening. Of course, when we inject stem cells from the outside in, it's expensive, it's painful, we don't have long lasting effects. I've had tons of patients in my office spend 4 figures on one side of the body and 4 figures on another side of the body to patch something or to inject stem cells instead of patching something for way, 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 way less, like pennies on the dollar compared to that. It's invasive, and of course, these are things that are probably going to have to be injected multiple times over time. And so I've taken a lot of these patients who've wanted to have the benefits of stem cells, but don't know that the patching can activate their own master cells simply by utilizing their own light. Da, da, da. So it's super easy to wear. This is super fun. Like I said, I've been showing you this entire time. You could stick them on your body. You could stick them on the recommended spots. They've done clinical research. It is super easy to just stick them on your body and then take them off after 12 hours. You repeat that daily. You could create abundance in various sources of other vital energy, which we'll talk about by combining different patches together to enhance overall vitality to impact various means of what you're experiencing in terms of health expression. And a couple things you want to add. You want to stay hydrated. Number one, because these work on the electrical chemical gradient of the body. So having more water allows more water to go into those cells to replenish and hydrate the cells to make them healthier, which of course happens as we age. As we age and decline, it's because we are losing water from our cells. Also, you want to make sure all of my chocolate lovers out there, Ashley, I see you. I see you. We love our chocolate. We are chocolate girlies. You want to have dark chocolate, higher than 70% or higher of cacao that activates and helps your body support the copper aspect of creating its own GHK copper peptide. And of course, you want proper mineralization. So I love, love, love real salt, mineral salt to taste on everything in your water. It's fantastic. Those are three great, easy ways and small changes to add when you start patching to optimize those effects of patching. So I want to stop here and share a testimonial because this is a really powerful testimonial. This is Marcy. Marcy started her patching journey back in 2019 when she was experiencing fast growing cells in her breast tissue that she had sought out conventional treatment for. And she was, down so much so that she was preparing for transition. She was preparing, her mental health was not great. She was not seeing the results that she wanted. And a friend of hers who was a doctor put 10 of these in her hand and said, try them. And so Marcy, desperate to try something and shift and change, she tried them. And what she noticed as she was gifted those patches on day 1 and 2, she started to taste that chemo metal coming from her mouth and detoxing. Day 5, the skin on her hands actually became softer. And by day 10, her emotional aspect shifted and she was ready to live life again. And so, of course, you could see here, this is a beautiful picture of Marcy. It's been more than 3 years now, of course, but this is her and her shifts and her abundant vital energy replenished. Not only did her hair grow back thicker, her colors immense to her face, her skin, her tone, her mental health, everything completely was reclaimed and abundant, which is so beautiful. And Marcy is just literally like a ball of energy. She's so vibrant, and she's a beautiful human being. And so her story, you can find it on YouTube. It's really touching if you want to listen to it. There's about a 5 or 8 minute video on her full story. I highly recommend you going and listening because now she helps walk with others who have experienced her story, and she's very passionate about it and has helped literally save hundreds, if not thousands of people to return back to vital energy, which is so important, right? This is a little study here done on brain health, like I mentioned in where you see those brain changes. This here's thermography. So like I said it before, our body emits heat and light. We could look at thermoscans, we look at night vision cameras, and anything that we could look as humans about how heat comes off our body. We know in terms of thermography that red, yellows, and oranges are not good. That means there's inflammation. That means there's temperature differentials that are high. And so we could see here this 77-year-old woman after one session, this is where she was at. After 2 sessions, we got rid of the red and even the orange. And then we see here we've shifted all the way down to more blues and more greens, which is a lot more health and vitality related. We've decreased brain inflammation, improved memory, focus, cognitive function. So we know that increasing that GHK copper peptide supports cell and nerve regeneration and overall brain health as well. And this is something that we see consistently across the board of just some people putting on the patch. They notice that they can take a deep breath. They notice that their energy shifts. They notice that they have much more ease. Their nervous system's more balanced. They're more calm. They're not, having as much anxiety or mental instability or mental imbalance or stress. Really powerful. So we could also see here what it does for the skin. Most people think scars are just unattractive to look at, but our body does not like tension. It does not like things wound up and twisted in terms of our fascia or in terms of our skin. It's just not incongruent with how we're supposed to be living. And so we could see this massive gut scar here that with after about a year's time, it's completely gone. And I mean, I've seen individuals who've had like 15, 20-year-old scars. Dr. Cindy, I think, has like a 30-year-old scar on here that is completely been removed from the body because the body doesn't want to hold on to that. It's not abundant in terms of its healing and its vitality. This here, we could see this as spinal cord um, interference from disc issues in the cervical spine. This is so incredible, especially from the chiropractic world where I come in and see a lot of this all the time. And of course, this doesn't happen overnight. This is long-term vitality. Like, what can the body do when we give it the proper biological variance over time to allow its intelligence to actually run and do exactly what it was created to do? Super powerful. Also with wound healing, oh gosh, I have so many endless stories of wound healing in terms of X39 helping, but our stem cells activate and actually help with wound healing. So we could see someone's finger, they cut the tip of it off and they've replenished. And most people who are able to utilize X39 for wound healing don't even have scarring, which is mind blowing. Here we have scoliosis. We see the not just the structure, but think about the function that's returned to this individual in terms of health and vital means when they're able to move themselves with more ease, not be as tense, not be in compromising positions, and overall long-term health and vitality. This is majorly impactful for their health in terms of that later in life abundance. We see here someone who's gone through radiation treatments, and this is from June 6th, 2021 to June 23rd, so a month's time, and we could see how her skin has healed and looks absolutely beautiful and flawless and actually age reversed despite the treatment she was going through. So how abundant can our bodies be? And that is the question. So I want to start here. And one thing I want to talk about is I shared this, I think, last week, but David Schmidt, the inventor and CEO of the company, of course, had been patching himself for 20 years. And he shared on a LifeWave Connect call last week or 2 weeks ago that he's 61 years old. And of course, he does his own regular blood work, his own regular testing to actually look at how patches have impacted him over 20 years. And he shared last week that he is 61 years old, but on all of his consistent testing from wearing all of the patches, his metabolic age is 31. Which is so wild to me, right? Like, we think things aren't possible, and then we hear something like that. And I want you to look up David Schmidt, listen to him talk. I've met him in person. He is like, his muscle mass is fantastic. He is just so active and vibrant and healthy and vital. And of course, he is a walking testament of what he has created. So the proof is in that experience of someone patching. And we've seen people who wear Aura rings who start patching for 1 week and they lose 2 years of time reversal and even beyond that. So I challenge you to really feel how this feels in your body and what that would look like for you if that was something you never considered, and see how beautiful that might be for you to add that to the possibilities of what your life can do. As I know so many people that I've met have chalked off things that they don't think they're ever going to be able to do again until they start patching. And that's the most beautiful part. And why I do this every single week is I've seen people go back to doing things they never thought were possible and beyond. And like that and beyond component, most people don't ever even think of dreaming of until they get to that point. And they're like, well, I think I could do a little bit more. And the possibilities are endless. So I like to always share here as we finish up before we do some question and answers and some testimonials is the other patches in the LifeWave suite. Because I talk about vital energy with the X39. X39 is the patch that activates those master cells, the one that your own light can activate and enhance the production of GHK, which we know then enhances those master cells. And so really powerful to wear X39 daily. But when we can tap into other vital pools of energy, why wouldn't we, right? We want to actually give more abundance, and especially those that are experiencing chronic or declining health and vitality on a more intensive scale. We want to be able to support other areas that we know from research, we know from long-term health studies, is beneficial for the body to help have these nutrients or biological variants as we are healing. So this is Eon. Eon is the patch that we always support with X39. I always recommend adding Eon to your X39 because this helps melt away that tension in your body. It's a great aspect in terms of supporting the inflammation process, that brain inflammation. It is really great at relaxing and calming the nervous system. So this is the patch that we all see combined together with X-ray that people just take a deep breath and are like, wow, I didn't know it could be this clear, right? In the first 5 minutes of trying this out. So that's a really powerful patch. Then we have X49. This is the sister peptide, the GHK. AHK supports the cardiovascular system, active muscle recovery, fat metabolism, as well as lung support, blood support, really fantastic for helping support those overall recovery systems and the vital support systems of our body that keep us running. Carnosine is an essential amino acid, so this is great to support skeletal muscle. This is fantastic to help with the pancreas, blood sugar, as well as blood pressure regulation, organ tonification. It's essential a nutrient that we all require, and most of us are deficient in. So adding this can be really vital, especially those that are active and want active recovery or just want to maintain skeletal muscle throughout their aging process. It's really powerful. Next is glutathione. We know glutathione is a powerful mechanism for defense in our body, immune system supporter. It also can help the natural detox systems of the body. It's great at removing metals from the body. Same thing with carnosine. It's great at removing aluminum from the brain. So these are really powerhouse patches to combine throughout your weekly protocol to support your body in terms of vital energy in different various aspects. Then we have Alavita. This is the epithalamin peptide. Epithalamin is just like there's a whole freaking book written on it. Oh my gosh. It's like there's endless. It's like X39 and Alavita have like the most like wild benefits you could ever imagine. But we go from hair, skin, and nails all the way to cortisol, all the way to hormones, all the way down to your vision, all the way down to your mental health, focus, brain fog, memory. My goodness, the possibilities are endless there. So I love Alavita. I wear it 5 out of the 7 days a week at night. It's really great to support circadian rhythm and sleep regulation. And it also has an Alavita system. So they have a day cream, a night cream, and an eye cream that you could wear with the patch to support, of course, fine lines and wrinkles. And that's a fantastic product as well. Lastly, the last couple patches, SP6. This is really great for helping regulate hormones, endocrine system, regulating appetite, whether upregulating or downregulating based on what your body needs, as well as supporting those nervous system organs that are involuntary. So thinking about your kidneys, your adrenals, your thyroid, your hypothalamus, your liver, your pancreas, your intestines, really great at helping with the female aspects or just fertility in general, male or female, but essentially most women love this for anything in terms of pre, peri, or postmenopause, any of the ones. Hot flashes, it'll stop in its tracks. It's really great for helping those hormones naturally return to their homeostatic levels that they should be at. Next is Silent Nights. Silent Nights is to help regulate natural production of melatonin, which we know, hello, equals better sleep, and of course serotonin, so better health and mental vitality. Then we have Energy Enhancer, which I said was created 20 years ago by David Schmidt for the Navy SEALs. And this is an energy patch, not a stimulant. It's not going to give you energy drink energy. It's not going to give you caffeine energy. It is a grounded, consistent energy. It also works off of your ATP, so that's your energy production. Burns about 300 to 500 calories a day. It's fantastic. You could utilize it equivalent to what a cold laser, a cold red laser would do. So you could put it on the lung fields. You could help with congestion. It could help with nausea. It could help with digestion. It's really fantastic, and there's so many benefits to this. It's really, really powerful, so don't sleep on Energy Enhancer. Then lastly, we have IceWave and AccuLife. They're both the same patch. One is marketed to animals, one is marketed to humans. All these patches can be put on animals, side note. But IceWave and AccuLife are pain patches. So these are specifically fast-acting, non-addictive, chemical-free, drug-free, stimulant-free ways to turn off and pain gate the pain channels. And so these work magically. They're literally mind-blowing how much they work. And you can wear these ones for 24 hours. And then you could also optimize them with X-Ray and Eon to help with the inflammation and the healing and regeneration of areas. This is where we've seen lots of testimonials with people canceling surgeries for replacements and various means of their body because over time, patching for 6 months, a year and a half, they've actually regenerated vitality into those joints and means of their body, and we don't have to go to those surgeries anymore. So I know I covered a lot today. If you have questions, which I hope you do, please get back with the person who was kind enough and generous enough to think about you and love on you to send you here today. If you have questions that we can help with, we're of course going to do a Q&A here after we share some testimonials. I'm happy to answer those for you, but we could get you a customized kit so you could get going and start patching literally in 2 to 3 days. FedEx is beautiful at getting these things shipped out and getting us on a health and vitality protocol in ways that you've probably never heard of. You've probably never known this is possible. It's been around for 20 years, which is so powerful, and it is literally becoming a household name because we are tapping into various means of healing and vitality that most people have never heard of. But now we're seeing the incredible testimonials that are coming from people just like me and you of all walks of life, of all health and vitality expressions. And so I wanted to share some testimonials. I know Jen said she is all good to go. So, Jen, if you want to unmute yourself, I'd love for you to share some testimonials that you've experienced or those that are patching with you so we could get some of those shared and motivated to help more people. Jen, are you there? Don't forget to unmute yourself, Jen, if you're there. Doo-doo.
Hey,
Hey,
sorry. You asked
you're all
me.
good.
Sorry, I'm at a fencing meet.
You're all good. Is this a good time for you to share?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Um, Everybody did it for me when I first learned, so happy to have the opportunity. I'll see if I can get my camera on so you're not looking at a weird little blob. Um, is it on? It's having connection issues. All right. Anyway, so I've been doing this 2 months. All right, you're going with the weird little blob. Sorry, guys. Um, 2 months now, and I would say I was actually a slow starter. It wasn't instant, except for the thirst, and I was like, okay, this is different. By the third, fourth week, I could wear extra patches, but the first week, I just stuck with X39, and I'll be honest, it was amazing. I slept better, I had energy, I just felt good. And then as I started changing and patching things, my skin on my neck, which I can send a picture, is I have no wrinkles. I am 58 years old and I don't look it. Um, I mean, oh, here we go. Oh, God, my kids would be like, Mom, we're so embarrassed. Um, anyway, the skin on my neck, all the wrinkles are gone. And the I noticed the last week varicose veins only on my left leg, not my right leg. That one still has one, but they're gone. I have no varicose veins on my left leg. Like I literally was dunning around trying to take pictures. Like, when did that happen? And I've lost 7 pounds. And yeah, there's things like the whole body's changing. People at work are like, "What are you doing? You look great." So there's that. And then somebody who's under me, who became a brand partner, she has had pain in her neck for almost 3 months. She's been going to neuro. She's been going to back doctor, chiropractor. She put on 2 ice waves on the back of her neck and her pain was gone, to the point where she called me crying. So she had relief for the first time in 3 months, and she's telling her doctor about it. She's that excited. Those are my stories.
Yay! Thank you for sharing. That's so
Of course.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's a fun journey. It's a really
I
fun
always
journey.
you never know what's going to change next.
Well, I'm doing the belly protocol next, and then I'm going to do the neck protocol because I did this down here, and I don't know if you can really see it, but it's like I'm in a school with sensors, but down here was all like the sun wrinkles that you get at 58 years old, and they're gone. So next, I'm going to do the neck lift. This
Awesome.
is, I'm so excited, really excited. Feels good. Feels good to feel great.
Yay! Thank you for sharing, Jen. I'm so excited for your journey, and of course, keep us updated. And if you have
Yeah.
pictures and you would love to share them, please feel free to share them in any of our groups because that will help, of course, everybody to
Cool.
help others have the same experience that you do.
You got it. Good hair day.
Yay!
Thank you.
Awesome. Anybody else want to share a testimonial or have any questions? We're able to open that up as well. I know a lot of you have recorded and shared before, so you don't feel obligated if you've already recorded and shared. Totally up to you.
I'm happy to speak to I've shared a lot about my journey of being retapped into vitality. Um, and I've also experienced waves of all sorts of things through this. And what's been coming up for me recently is this weaving of sisterhood and just like a really potent recalibration that's like really, really deep in my body. And I am grateful for the people who can be with my watery emotions as, you know, it's like inner child, like very deep, like the little girl who was told she was too sensitive. And I mean, just really like very deep, in friendships that have shifted in really beautiful ways and are actually in really challenging moments right now, like really tender, challenging. And I thought it was like, okay, I got this. And I received an email today and it was like, sister, like if you're having these feelings and this deep things going on, we got to get out of text. We got to get out of writing. Like we need to speak to each other. We live in the same town. Like there's no excuse for that. Like I'm not going to read your email. I love you. When you're ready, call me or we'll have tea, you know? So I guess my whole thing is like, this has been wild, in some ways like unworldly. That's a, you know, and so deep and so, I don't like to use the word needed, um, but just like really, really beautiful. And so my invitation is no matter how wild this ride is, like remember that like you can continue on with this and really to keep going, even in the deepness, and to lean, like that's why we do this in community, because even if like the people that are direct or side or whatever it is, like we are here to hold each other when we're available to hold each other, and we're also here to set boundaries when we're not, right? And so this work, I have like I've been full body spirit bumps right now. um it's just huge, and it's like divine timing that we're all in this together. And it's literally from like putting stickers on our body. Yeah, it's like really deep. And I will also speak to how it's really shifted my partnership with my, call him my spiritual husband. Um, yeah, it's like there's like deep womb work going on here, like deep. And I will say my libido is like nothing that it's ever been with him. My orgasms express in ways they've never expressed. Um, and I like truly am allowing myself to be in my feminine with him, which I've always like he's always been like this grounded masculine, but there's like this new appreciation for like, oh, this man in my life, like, you know, who holds me and all like wants to hold me in the water, you know, like give me your emotion, babe, you know, like let me be your, you know, like if I don't tell him, he's like, please just tell me what, you know. Um, and so it's like it's that like it's not just like, hey, I got on these because maybe I'm in menopause. I don't know. Like I don't know. I'm in that period of like awkward of like, am I pregnant or am I in menopause? And either would be wild. Like either would be wild, right? Um, but yeah, just an invitation to like remember that you when you do this, you are doing it in community, regardless of whether or not you decide to share your link. You are invited to be held by so many sisters and brothers and people. Um, so thank you. I'm so grateful for the invitation to be here, and that I had the courage to get off mic, and share the like transparent reality of what's happening for me in this process. And thank you to every woman on this call right now, and anybody who watches it, because all of you have touched me in some way. Complete.
Yay. Tiffany said in the comments that light releases stored trauma. And I think that's really beautiful. Right? We just allow ourselves to have the light shine through us. And I don't think I need to say anything else because that was the most beautiful transmission. And if that doesn't literally get everybody patching or on that protocol, like everybody wants the protocol, like we're gonna have to create a new wholesale kit. It's called the M Strong wholesale kit premium pack. Patch for 5 years and watch what happens.
I will speak to the fact that I probably could have just started with the premium pack. Like afterwards, I was like, oh, definitely go advanced if you can.
Right.
If you can make it work, definitely go advanced. Best value. And you're like, yeah. And
Endless
you can share
possibilities.
it with your friends and your husband and your dog and your plant.
Awesome. Beautiful. Well, you could totally just share with everybody in our Telegram chat what you've been patching with all along, and I'm sure everybody will be on that by tomorrow. Endless orders going in tonight. But thank you. Seriously, thank you so much for patching. Thank you for sharing your patching journey. I know it's vulnerable, and I know a lot of us are all going through the same thing. And I think that's something I do want to speak to is like most people do start to patch for some type of physical experience, but what they don't realize is how much actually changes in their life after the physical stuff gets checked off that list, right? And we like that inner non-sensory, non-felt sense motor component that we experience can be that like so deep, like so incredibly deep that we start to feel of what changes and shifts for us. And most people are surprised at how the emotions come with just a sticker, how emotions shift too. And that's something that sometimes be scary to a lot of people. That's not something that we're typically taught or guided through. But when we're able to work through the physical, it's preparing us for the emotional and that like depth that we kind of go into when we go into the water and then allow us to release and come back up. And that is the work. It's not that you're just gonna get dunked in the tank and drowned immediately. But the longer you do tap in and you stay consistent, the possibilities are truly endless. And I mean, I've been patching for over 20 months and I've gone through so many shifts and waves in different ways that um it's something I'm never going to stop doing, honestly. You know, it's like most people say, well, when can I stop this? When can I stop patching? It's like, well, like when can you stop drinking water? When can you stop eating food? When can you stop sleeping? When can you stop like brushing your teeth? Like these are things that it's become inherent into what I do and who I am because it's shifted so much because it's my own light. It's my own light that's determining these things and allowing my light to shine and heal, and I invite everybody to want to do the same. So thank you all for sharing. I know we probably don't have any questions anymore after that beautiful testimonial, so I would love to end on that. So people can, I will post this and people can digest it and we could share it with all of those we love. So thank you, for being the light tonight on our call. This is so beautiful. And I will catch you all next week. Next week or
So,
so much love, everybody.
kisses.
Mwah.